It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, but this is also one of my favorite moments because it's the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Ting, ting, ting.
I had to bribe them, but they are here. They came through with the ting, 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 and we finally get to celebrate a massive milestone with one of our favorite chefs. Teresa, she is here, and earlier this month, she launched her very first cookbook. It's called Cupcakes and CousCous, From My Kitchen to Yours. And we couldn't be more excited for her to show us 2 recipes from her book. So let's get into it. Firstly, please can we give you a round of applause? You have finally done it. There we go. Teresa, how does it feel finally having this project, this baby that you've been working and nourishing for so long in book form and ready for people to enjoy in their own homes?
It's incredible. It's quite surreal, actually, because it has been years in the making. So to finally see it is just an incredible feeling, and I'm so excited to share it with everyone.
Oh, we are so excited to get into it. So the recipe we're about to make, is that one of the recipes from your cookbook?
Yes, this is in the lunch chapter. It's the tomato galette.
Tomato galette. Okay, well, if you have any culinary questions, perhaps you want to ask Teresa anything about her book, send us voice notes. Our number is 063-408-8863. Okay, I'm very excited to get stuck into this recipe.
Yes, so there's 2 elements. There's the pastry and there's the tomato filling. Do you want me to get on with the pastry?
You can start with the pastry.
Okay.
Yes, I feel like I don't have the best of hands when it comes to making
This is a
pastry.
messy job. So I've got some flour in the bowl. I'm going to season with a little bit of salt. Mix that together. And then we're going to rub in some butter. And of course, butter gives it lovely flavor, gives it that flakiness. So I'm going to rub that in so long.
Do you ever cheat and just buy your pastry, or do you prefer to make it yourself?
So this kind of pastry I make myself, and you can also make it in the food processor, which takes a couple of seconds, literally. But if I'm really in a hurry, I would use like maybe a store-bought puff pastry or something like that. So I do cut corners sometimes.
Oh.
You know, working mom, you're in a rush a lot of the time.
And
so.
you're now a cookbook author. You can add that to your resume.
That's true.
Oh, Teresa, I think a lot of people don't realize how much hard work goes into bringing out a cookbook.
Yes.
I mean, how often did you have to test these recipes?
Well, the manuscript took me about 7 months to write. So it was 7 months of testing recipes 7 days a week. I mean, every single recipe in that book has been tested multiple times. So it was a lot of work and a lot of cooking. But once that was done, then it was the photography stage and then putting it all together. So it is a bit of a process. It takes a while. But once you get going, it's a lot of fun and, yes, a lot of hard work.
And the hard work has paid off. I think this is unbelievable. Do you mind if I just open it up?
Yes,
I mean,
have a
for
look
me,
inside.
I eat with my eyes, so I love a recipe book that has loads of beautiful pictures. Look at that. These are the buttermilk and honey scones. Look at this, carrot and bran muffins, some great recipes in here. Tomato and red pepper pasta if you're looking for some supper ideas.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Oh, yes, there's dessert as well.
Had to be dessert with my sweet tooth.
Oh.
So, yeah, I've really tried to make recipes that you can use every day. So it's not the kind of book you're just going to pick up on special occasions. Whatever you need, breakfast, lunch, dinner, braai. There's an entire braai chapter in there. Whatever you need, it's all in there.
And it's all about just what you love to cook and
Yes.
being able to share that with the people that will pick up this recipe book.
Exactly.
Now, where is your book available?
So it's available at all good bookstores and online. I'm also selling it on cupcakesandcouscous.com.
Okay.
So it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. So let's talk about the ingredients you've now added to your
Yes.
pastry.
So I rub the butter in. You can see it looks like breadcrumbs. And now I've added half a whisked egg, some Dijon mustard, which gives it a lovely flavor, and some water. And with the water, I usually start by adding just half of it, just to get going, because you don't want it too wet.
Okay.
But we have added whole egg, which makes it quite easy to work with. And you're basically going to cut in your liquid and just mix it until it comes together into a dough. So it's pretty easy.
And we've got the finished dough right here.
There we go. So
The
you can
perks
see it's
of cooking
coming
on
together.
TV.
Yeah, so that will turn into that. And this we've just refrigerated for an hour just to let it
Is it essential that you rest your dough?
It is a good idea just to prevent shrinkage. So yeah, always try and factor in that time if you can. And then that one's all ready to go. And I wonder if we should start the filling as well.
Okay.
So this is we've gone very basic. So with a lot of the recipes in the book, it's basic ingredients that you have in the cupboard or the fridge, but just maximizing those flavors. So we've got beautiful fresh tomatoes. Nice
Can I
ripe
just go and
tomatoes.
add that to our bowl?
So pop those in, yeah. And then we've got some fresh herbs as well. Beautiful flavors.
Do we have any voice notes? Because I know this is the Culinary Hotline. Perhaps any questions for Teresa? If you have any, our WhatsApp line is open. Our number is 063-408-8863.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to add some fresh rosemary.
Some fresh rosemary. We actually have a voice note that came through from Sean, Teresa. One that's
Okay.
just for you. Good morning, Sean.
Morning, Teresa. It's Sean from Cape Town here. I just want to find out, for the pastry, can you cheat and use puff pastry?
Hi, Sean. Yes, you absolutely can. Puff pastry with this kind of dish works beautifully. So, yeah, good idea.
Good idea to also add a little bit of puff. But of course, we want to try making it from scratch. I
Try
think
if you can, yes.
that's the beautiful
It's not
thing.
too difficult. So our rosemary's gone in there. You can add a bit of minced garlic. So if you just grate it in there, nice and fine.
See, I bought one of those little devices where you just crush the garlic and it like
Yes,
kind
I
of
love
does the bits for you.
Yes, brilliant.
This is where I struggle.
And also, once you've added everything, you just want to let it sit for about 10 minutes because you do find the tomatoes have a lot of liquid in it and you don't want a galette with a soggy bottom.
No,
You've got to let all that liquid drain out.
we just want the tomato. We'll leave the juices.
And when you
something
roast them,
else.
they just have the most beautiful flavor. The roasting just intensifies the flavor. So again, it's simple ingredients that you're kind of making the most of.
There we go.
Smells amazing. Oh, I'm getting there.
We're getting that beautiful
Pastry was
garlic.
cold.
So how thick do you want your pastry to be?
You want it about 3 millimeters. And what I love about galettes is they are very rustic. So you don't have to have a perfect circle. The more rustic, the better. And they really are quite beautiful in that way.
Okay, so I'm
A
just
bit of
seasoning with some salt and pepper.
Brilliant. And you just toss that together gently. Leave it for about 10 minutes, and then you drain all the excess liquid away.
Okay, so
you've
we
got
will
this
leave that for a
beautiful
little
filling.
bit, and we'll just finish
Okay.
off our
Let's finish
galette
off.
by folding the pastry.
Right, I'll quickly pop it on the tray. So you can put a bit of parmesan on the bottom. So if you want to put probably about 3/4 of that, save a little bit for later. And you could substitute with other cheeses if you wanted to.
I think I'm a bit rough here.
No. And then we can just layer the tomatoes on top, and you can let them overlap a little bit. And it just looks so beautiful. And if you mix up your tomatoes, if you use green tomatoes and red together, it just looks absolutely beautiful.
Some of those beautiful yellow tomatoes.
Yes,
But the red is just so
stunning.
beautiful.
Really, yeah, catches your eye. And you just leave a little border around the edge like we've done here. And that we're going to start folding over. So I just do sort of a pinch roll over. This one's got a bit of flour on it. But it's very rough and
Okay.
very easy.
Well, what we'll do is we'll finish up here. Let's find out what the gents are up to, and then we will come back and show you what this will look like before you pop it into the oven. There we go.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beauties, to another installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Zing, zing, zing! Must feel extra good for someone here saying that. This next recipe is straight from Teresa's newly minted cookbook, Cupcakes and CousCous. And we cannot wait to get tucked into this next one, or at least I'm going to live vicariously through Zoe as she tastes it. But of course, we want you to join the discussion. If you've got any questions about your own baking conundrums, Teresa is the person to ask. You can send us them 063-408-8863. Teresa, it's only fitting. I tease you, I think for the last like 5 years, I've
Yep.
teased you every time we cook
Every
together.
time.
You'll make like the healthiest food with everyone else. Then with me, you give the perception that I have like the sweetest tooth on the planet, but you've birthed my sweet tooth, okay? Because
Save this one for you.
This is your happy place. So we're going to swap around. I'm going to put you back in your happy place and explain to the people what we are going to be making, because this seems to tick a lot of
Yeah,
boxes.
so I love a baked cheesecake, but there's a lot of ingredients and a long baking time, so I wanted to make a simpler version that was a lot easier to put together. but like a traditional baked cheesecake. And then we've got the cherry element, which just brings in a bit of sharpness to balance the flavors.
Because cherries are beautiful because they can still caramelize. So you get the best of the sweetness of a fruit, of a stone fruit like that, but you also get that kind of tartness, something to break through, cut through the fattiness of the cheesecake. This is the perfect union. Okay, so you've made it easier.
Yes.
How much easier? How do we connect?
Very, very easy. So we've just done a biscuit base. So this is crushed biscuits mixed with a bit of melted butter.
Do you go with the coconut biscuity base? Is that your choice?
I do.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. You could mix it up and use your favorite. Press it into your greased tin. You could use a round tin like this or an oblong tin, and just set it aside while you make your filling. So very,
I like
very
it.
easy.
And I like, for me, and this is personal preference, I like a slightly thicker base at the bottom. I really like the texture.
Yes.
And especially when you're using those particular coconutty biscuits, they get
Delicious.
a toastiness to them that is
Totally.
just magical.
Just
And
works
They do
beautifully.
come in a rusk form now as well, just to blow your mind.
I saw that, I
Yeah.
know. All right, and then we're just going to whisk up our filling, and it's a matter of throwing it in the bowl, whisking it together, and that's it.
Can anything potentially go wrong with a baked cheesecake? I know it's probably a little less forgiving than your fridge cheesecake, but with this, is there anything that we need to watch out for when experimenting ourselves?
Yeah, I think you just don't want to overbake it because it gets a little bit dry. So just watch it. It should be set, but oh, sorry,
And
shooting this everywhere.
Should be everywhere, all over the kitchen.
Should be a mess all over the counter. Once it's done, it'll have a little wobble in the middle, and then that's perfect. That's what you want. So we're just softening our cream cheese. I'm going to add a bit of caster sugar. Just to sweeten
Presumably
it
the
up.
caster sugar just dissolves a lot more easily.
It will,
You
yeah.
don't have like the graininess in there.
Just give it a good mix. We're adding some vanilla paste, which gives beautiful flavor.
Is the vanilla paste, does that pack more of a punch? Is it a bit more concentrated than the essence, for instance? Or are they the same thing, just in different guises?
So I prefer to use vanilla extract or vanilla paste. The vanilla paste has the seeds, which is beautiful, and it looks beautiful in your dessert. So the flavor is a little bit more intense. You can use essence if that's what you have. It's a bit more budget friendly, so that's totally fine as well.
Thanks for saying that.
We're all watching the budget these
Exactly.
days. So.
It sounds like a voice note has come through. This one from Sue. Let's hear from Sue this morning. Good morning, Sue.
Hi Expresso, it's Sue from Joburg. I'd love to know from Teresa what's her favorite recipe from her new cookbook. Thank you.
I was going to ask that question, and I got so excited at the view of the cheesecake that I forgot. Can you have a favorite? What? Come on, just.
It's like choosing a favorite child. Honestly, I've had the question so many times.
So it's easy, is what you're saying.
So I love the braai chapter in the book. That's probably my favorite. I love the moussaka. There's a beautiful moussaka in there, and there's a potato bake with bacon crumble
So it's
and
not
parmesan.
it's not even a sweet treat.
I actually prefer the savories in this book. There's a beautiful sweet chapter, and don't get me wrong, I love all of those recipes, but I've actually enjoyed working on the savory ones.
I was going to ask,
believe it or not.
Maybe that's a good way to put it. What was the best part to work on? Were there areas that pushed you in ways that you didn't quite anticipate or expect?
Well, I think so. My main goal was to create a lot of variety in the book, and I think just to try different, well, not different things. I mean, these are recipes I make at home, but just to have that variety.
Maybe that with a different lens or a different approach.
Yes, yeah, and to try and make things a little simpler and more accessible for everybody. But I think just the sheer volume of the work was the challenge, and the number of recipes I had to develop over a few months. So that was probably the most challenging part.
So I hope in some way, because we probably forced you to live through these 7-minute gateways while you're doing these very big recipes and things. And often, not even your own recipes will just throw you in there and make you do these things. So hopefully we've helped. But it does, I would imagine, help having kids and a hungry hubby at home to test things out. Who's your fiercest critic? Is it you, or is it someone from the family?
The family are very honest, I have to say.
Oh, really?
Like, we often have a joke about it. People say, oh, you've got such a tough life having to try all these recipes. But honestly, they had such patience. Every day I would come to them and say, oh, can you try this? And there was never this, oh, Mom, another one. And
I'm sure, tough life.
they gave me such good feedback and constructive criticism, and they were actually amazing. And, you know, they don't hold back. They're very honest.
Oh, and now
especially the kids.
Yeah, and now they indirectly, like me, have learned how to cook because, you know, through osmosis, just from absorbing all of this amazing information.
Just observing.
Our mixture looks great. That's really aerated now. It actually looks really light.
Our eggs went in. Our white chocolate went in.
Are the eggs what give it that kind of expanded body? Because it literally looks aerated.
It's sort of
it looks
moussey.
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
Yeah. So just smooth that into your base, and then we've got our cherry sauce here. Oopsie, just
Ooh,
drawing
and you
my
can
crust
see the
here.
little flecks of
Beautiful.
the vanilla in there as well. I love that.
I love that. So this is just some frozen cherries that we've put into a saucepan, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, and just simmer them for a couple of minutes, mush them up with your spoon, and it makes this beautiful jam.
Oh,
And you're just
I love
going to
it.
drop little bits on top. And this is the
Globules
part...
doesn't sound like the most sexy kind of cake word, but that's what you want, is you want those beautiful, rich droplets of...
That's it.
Because it's going to be quite a nice kind of contrast to the creaminess of the
Definitely.
cheese.
It's really going to work
crunchiness of the
beautifully.
base.
And you get to be a little bit artistic. So I'm not a very artistic person, but I like this part of the...
You could make it a
thing,
bit more
but you just-
pumpkin-y and kind of for Halloween coming up and do
You
some
could.
beautiful little Halloween cakes.
That's a good point.
This is... you can see I'm speaking from the perspective of being a parent. If you can get your children invested in the process, they will eat the food. That is
I
a
agree,
big part.
completely, yeah.
So if you can give them a choice of before you start the process, it helps so much. But it also, I'm realizing now, some of my magical best moments with my kids have been baking.
Yes, I
'cause
agree.
You've got the patience, you've got the opportunity to achieve something together, which is
Yeah.
great. And of course, you get to eat the reward.
Afterwards.
Oh, man, I would imagine there are families out there. There are going to be dads looking at their brides differently, moms looking at everything differently, certainly their school lunches. And I would imagine
Yes.
food lovers like me, I think lifting our game just a little bit. Absolutely love it. Cupcakes and CousCous is available now in all major bookstores and online. What's the best way to get hold of it?
So bookstores are your best option. Otherwise, Cupcakes and CousCous.com. I'm selling copies there as well.
And she answers DMs. So if you want to chat to her and speak to her and face any conundrums, I'll stick around because she ain't going nowhere. Thank you for another amazing installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling, ting, ting, ting.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Mzansi. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And as promised, we dive into the kitchen with the Rays and doing something extra special. Yes, we're exploring we first explored, obviously, Teresa's new cookbook, which was on offer, and we're absolutely loving that. So get your hands on that copy. And now we're going to be joined in the studio by another duo who absolutely love to bake. You've seen season 1. They are riding on a high right now. So let's dive into the inspiration of what is making these two beautiful souls tick in the kitchen. And that's exactly what I
Awesome.
find out right now. What are we making right now?
Today we're making cheese puffs. It's our
Yum.
granny's recipe, but obviously it's Heritage Month.
Ooh.
So we're chucking in some biltong to really South Africanize
Spice it up. I like that.
the recipe.
I like
okay,
that.
are you ready to get making, baking, and
Creating.
exactly?
Oh,
That's
I
how we
love
always
that.
start every recipe:
Let's
making,
do that.
baking, and creating.
Baking and creating.
creating.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that. And that's exactly what's going down. So take us through the recipe. How do we do this?
Okay, so I'm gonna do the dry ingredients here. Memes is gonna do the wet ingredients. So Memes, can you crack the eggs into this bowl? What I always say, crack eggs into a little bowl because
It might be rot, or you might get like shell into
yes, and then you can like get out the shell.
I've done that. I had
Nothing
my...
worse than cracking it in here.
Yeah, I used to have my Sylvester Stallone days when I was trying to get protein in, and you don't want to chug a raw egg down, trust me. It is not cool, guys.
No.
Try this method, a lovely culinary conundrum coming through from Mimi and Ray
So
there.
Memes is gonna crack 2 eggs in there. Then she's gonna put it into there with 2 cups of mast.
Okay.
Mast is a secret ingredient with baking.
Why is
'cause
that?
It just makes it fluffier, yummier, just.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna do the dry
The dry
ingredients.
stuff,
So we've got
yeah.
2 cups of
Perfect.
flour. You did. Okay, now add the mast. No?
all of it.
All of it, yeah.
Love it, yes.
Then I'm gonna pop in cheese.
Okay.
Who doesn't love cheese? And you know what the great thing about this recipe is? This is the basic recipe, and then you can just add what you like.
Because you can get creative. Like, with your own
Yeah.
sort of little spice, you want to make it your own, you can add little things to it.
You can put
Okay.
chili in it, you want to put
Nice.
feta, then we've got some baking powder. It's quite a lot of baking powder because we obviously want it to be fluffy.
Yes.
And then some yummy biltong powder.
Oh, nice. So that's definitely going to get all. I thought you were going to use like
Yes.
little chunks or something. I was wondering, like,
You can
that's all-
also.
You can, but that's like a roulette because sometimes someone's going to bite into a puff and not get any, and then sometimes you get like all of
know.
it. So I like that this is definitely going to spread quite easily.
Yeah,
and
you can
everyone
also
gets
do
that.
both. You can do the powder and little chopped
I
up
like
bits.
that. Beautiful
so that
stuff.
you get, you know, the texture as well.
Mimi, how are we doing on that side with the wet? Have we mixed it up yet? Ooh. A little bit of mess is fine, don't worry. How's it going on your side?
Good.
Okay, we've got that all mixed
Whisk
up
that
in there.
eggy, whisk, whisk.
When it comes to like you guys actually making and deciding on what to make, who's the one that actually makes that decision? Who gets the final say on, no, we're going to make this, or this is what we're going to bring forward for the recipe?
We do it together.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm more like on Pinterest, or I'm always looking at different.
Yes.
Oh, I'm falling over. Looking at different things and recipes. So I'll show Mimi, she'll be like, oh, I like that, or I don't like that. Or she'll be like, let's make pancakes, or let's make
Oh, nice.
cupcakes. So
Okay.
it's definitely like team effort. Are you all whisked up there?
Yes.
And have you
Okay.
had like a favorite item that you've made? Does anything like really stand out where it's like, oh, this was a winner?
Cake.
Cake.
We love cake. Cake and
Anything cake.
cupcakes.
Cake
yeah.
and cupcakes, all right.
But I think, yeah, like I think I made it the last time I was here. We did like a savory bread and butter pudding.
Oh, yum. I
And
missed
that's
that.
really yummy. Yeah, you did.
Okay, all right. Well, this
Okay.
is definitely setting another occasion and definitely reaching that bar, I think, especially the fact that you South Africanized this. Cheese and biltong, all the good things we like.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get
We've
straight
made
into
a
it. What are we doing
little
now?
hole in the middle, and
Yep.
we're gonna pop our mass and eggy mixture into that little hole in the middle.
Boom.
Well done, Memes. Are you gonna mix this up? You're gonna mix it up. Perfect. Remember to scoop from the bottom and flip it over.
Okay, watch this fine form, working it like an absolute champion. Let's not forget that Mimi's still just a young kid, but yet doing things that adults couldn't even attempt right now. I know myself, I would definitely struggle with this. Whenever it comes to baking, it's very intimidating for me. But honestly, you guys are making it look not only easy, but fun. And I think that really is the difference. I think that's why you're resonating with so many South Africans right now, especially when it comes to what you are sharing. It's nothing
Definitely.
complex, it's nothing crazy, but you make it so attainable. And these are like ingredients that I'm sure a lot of us just have lying around the pantry too. So you can make this right now, Mzansi. What are you waiting for?
And it's such an easy recipe. It's like
Yeah.
5 ingredients. And like I said, you can change it up and do what you want to do with it.
Beautiful,
Whatever
okay.
flavors you like.
So let's just pretend we fast forward into the future
Fast
and
forward, fast
let's
forward, fast
pretend
forward. Let
Mimi
me help
just
you.
made a beautiful folding mix out of this. What are the next few steps to
So-
take us to our final product?
Next, we have a tray that's been greased. So you can use a spray grease.
Okay.
Even if you just have butter, you can,
Just to make sure it
put
doesn't
butter.
stick in
Yeah,
there,
just
yeah.
to make sure it doesn't stick. And then we're gonna, that looks great, Memes. We're gonna use, I use 2 spoons just so I don't get my hands messy. And you scoop
Of course,
and
otherwise you're
pop
gonna
it
get a
in
handful
with the
of
others. Yeah.
dough.
It does rise quite a bit, you know,
Okay,
so
so don't
just
put too much in there. And then
leave some
temperatures, how
space.
long does it go in there for?
you bake it for like 15 minutes. It's not a long bake.
Oh, nice.
At 180.
Nice.
So yeah, rises quick, bakes quick, and it's like the best thing for breakfast. I
You know what's
love
even
cheese
better?
puffs.
The fact that the two of you are out here right now for breakfast serving up this meal. And I can't thank you again enough for coming through and sharing some of your magic with Mzansi, inspiring us, giving us a reason to get in by in the kitchen, create beautiful memories, and that's exactly what you're doing. So Mimi, you superstar. I'll see you somewhere on the red carpet soon, I know that's for sure. And of course, hopefully there's a season 2 on the horizon.
There is!
Yes! All right, so Mzansi, every reason to get hyped. I think Holly's still going to be sticking around. We got another performance from her. So, it's going to get good right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.